Xin chào tất cả mọi người, cô là Jim, một giảng viên tại Học viện Đào tạo Ngôn ngữ Anh Quốc ABIT. Và trong cuối tuần này, cô vừa nhận được một đề thi rất là hay do một bạn học viên tại ABIT đã tham dự kỳ thi IELTS Speaking tại Hội đồng Anh ngày 23 tháng 6 năm 2017. Cô nhận thấy một đề thi rất là thú vị, nên trong video clip chia sẻ lần này, cô sẽ trả lời mẫu cho chúng ta 3 phần thi của đề thi lần này, đồng thời đưa ra chúng ta một số cấu trúc ngữ pháp rất là hay và các từ vựng dễ ghi điểm trong phần thi IELTS Speaking. Rồi chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu với phần thi đầu tiên của kỳ thi IELTS Speaking Part 1. Đây chỉ là 4 câu hỏi trích lục từ 2 đến 3 bộ chủ đề trong phần thi IELTS Speaking Part 1 mà bạn học viên này được hỏi. Đây là 4 câu hỏi về sở thích cá nhân và những câu hỏi rất là thường ngày và chúng ta đều có thể trả lời được. Bây giờ cô sẽ đi qua từng câu hỏi một và sau đó qua mỗi câu hỏi cô sẽ đưa luôn ra câu trả lời cho phần thi này. Okay, so the first question that the candidate was asked: Are you working or are you a student? So I'm a working adult now, and during the day I work as an interpreter and translator for the Korean Trade and Investment Agency, where they send Korean firms to go invest and involve in trade with Vietnamese business partner. And during the night, or mainly in the evening, I work as an English teacher for university students and young adult learners. Right, so the second question that the students was asked: Do you usually do hard work? Well, it depends on how you define hard, but with my jobs that I'm doing, I don't really find it that's heavy or difficult. Both interpreting and teaching involve a lot of interacting and cooperation, and it's a great opportunity for me to make new acquaintance, to make new friends, and to meet new people. So it's a thing I really enjoy doing, and I don't find struggling or stressful doing it at any moment. The next question: What kinds of TV program do you like to watch? I spend a lot of time watching TV, but one of my all-time favorite shows on the box has to be sports, especially sports events and international tournaments such as the Olympic, the World Cup, and obviously Euro. I follow football, and besides football, I'm also a great fan of tennis. And whenever there's football season or the tennis season all around the year, I'm a keen follower of both of those sports. And the last question that the candidate was able to remember: Do you prefer watching TV alone or with your family? I don't mind either way, whether to spend my time alone in front of the TV or with other people. But to be honest, I really prefer to have my family with me. I really enjoy the moment where we sit in front of the box together, chit-chatting, and my dad always makes some really good jokes, and I love the interactions. It's a great family time and a good time to get bonding together. So if I have to choose, I would really want to have my parents and my sister with me rather than watching TV by myself. Right, so I hope that you get some of the ideas of how to give answers for the IELTS Speaking Part 1. And now I would love to give you the new structures and some vocabulary that I have just used in my answer. Right, so the topic that the candidates were asked in the IELTS Speaking Part 2 was: Describe a polite person you know. You should say who this person is, how you met him or her, whether you enjoy his or her company or not, and explain why do you think him or her to be a polite person. The student would get 1 minute after the question was given to prepare for the answer using a piece of paper and a pen. But we will skip the 1 minute and go straight into the 2-minute answer for the question. Right, so now I will spend 2 minutes to describe a polite person I know using the 4 prompts and extra information added. Right. So today I would love to tell you one of the greatest man with the best behavior that I had the chance of knowing, and that was Mr. Vice Principal of the college I was enrolled to in Manchester, England. His name was Ian, and the first time we met was via an interview on Skype, and it was only a voice call. And we actually had the chance to be first meeting in person when I was actually made it to the college in Manchester. I was on the way upstairs to my chemistry lesson on the 3rd floor, and I met him in the corridor. He actually recognized me, and because I was one of the few overseas students studying at the college, and he was very thrilled to see me and really happy that I made it to the school, and he invited me into his office to have a quick talk before my lesson. So he held the door open for me to get inside, and I was really impressed and rather surprised, because I wouldn't think that Mr. Vice Principal would do such a thing to one of the new students. He asked me to take a seat and asked me whether the room was too hot or too cold, and if I would like to have a drink, a cup of tea or coffee, and he would happy to make it. I was politely said no, and he started to ask me how's everything going, and whether or not I enjoyed the school, the subjects, and the place where I was staying. It was really nice to have a talk with him, and the way he talked was so relaxing and calming. And I reckon that he slowed down the speed of talking a little bit, since he recognized that I was an international student, a newly student to the school, and whether if I can or I could follow him that well if he speaks fast. So he made it quite slowly. And after the lesson, he took me up to the 3rd floor to my chemistry laboratory and showed me where everything is. After that, he sent me into the class and came back downstairs. I was really impressed and surprised, rather, because of the small thing that he did to a student like me, and also because of the position that he is. He's the vice principal of the school, and sometimes he's the connection between the outside world at the school. He had to meet new students, the parent of the student, and a lot of overseas agent to recruit the students for the college. And it doesn't hurt to be polite. So I think it's one of his key policy to be really good and to be really nice to the person that he's meeting, to get what he wanted by the very small thing that he can offer them. And that is enough for telling how polite he is. And this will be the end of the 2 minutes for my IELTS speaking part 2. Thank you very much for listening. So in part 2, you just talked, or the candidate were asked to talk to describe a polite person that he or she knows. And in part 3, the examiner and the candidate would discuss further questions related to the topic that they just talked about in part 2. So the questions in part 3 are obviously related to what we just talked about a polite person. So the first question is, what is politeness in your opinion? It's rather an interesting question to be answered with, because it really depends on how a person, a country, or a culture define polite and politeness. However, there's a common thing that I believe. If a person is trying to be polite, or to show that he or she is a polite person, one must understand the social cultures, the social rules and norms, and common standards and behaviors that a culture defines it as polite. For example, in England, if you are queue jumping, you are showing that you are being really, really rude. But even if you see, doesn't matter how long the queue is, but you still queue after the person standing next to you, and that is a really impressive behavior of how polite the person is. Get in the queue no matter how long the queue is, and how long will it take you to get to the till. And it's just one example of how polite or how a person shows that he or she is being polite. That leads to the second questions of the IELTS Speaking Part 3. Why is it important to be polite to people? I believe it's extremely important or crucial to show other people that you are a polite person. Obviously, this is a blending word, okay, or as some authors saying, the word is flat. We are having more opportunities to go and explore different cultures, the variety of different races, and people and countries and natures around the world. And people has more chance to come to us, to our cultures, and explore the diversity of the people in our country as well. So it's obviously very important to be polite because we are showing one another, different nation, different culture, that our culture is a really amazing one, and we are the polite people that very happy to show you so. And obviously it can be easier to get things done when you are being polite. For example, during the job interview, the employers could obviously pick the top employees or the top interviewees with good behaviors, well-mannered, and obviously polite, rather than rude one, polite, providing short answers, coming late, and really nervous and don't making eye contact with the interviewers. So obviously being polite is an advantage, and we should take advantage of being polite. The third question: in your country's culture, how do you show that you are being polite? Well, in Vietnam, we are improving ourselves to be a polite, a better person, a better society. There's some social standard norms that we should follow. For example, do not smoke in public places. It's not the rule yet, but we are avoiding and limiting ourselves smoking in a place with crowded people. We try not to throw garbage away on the streets. We give up seats for expecting women, children, and elderly people on the bus. That is some social acts. But as a person, being polite means how you behave with another people. For example, dating someone, meeting someone. Normally the girls would speak really quietly, and we don't eat much during the first date. The guys obviously had to order the things and always open up the conversation. And obviously for the first date, the guys has to pay. It's quite rude to split the bill during the first date. And I think it's just that example of how a person show that he or she is being polite. And the last question: do you think we should be polite to those who are not being polite to us? I obviously think that because being polite doesn't hurt, and we should take advantages of being polite, as I obviously mentioned in the previous question. Being polite could get things easier done, and if the others is being rude, we shouldn't take that into our minds, and we just show them that we are a well-behaved person, and we hope that they will follow. And I think if we are being rude to a rude person, nothing's going to get to the end, and it's always there must be the balance somewhere in between. So I do believe that we shouldn't be too rude to those who are not being polite to us. And that is the end of the 4 questions the students were asked in the IELTS Speaking Part 3. So thank you very much for listening, and I hope to see you again soon in another clips. Right, okay, so now I will provide you with some of the vocabulary and the structure that I have just used in the three parts of the IELTS speaking. Firstly, in part 1, I tried to use the word working adult. Ở đây cô đã sử dụng cụm từ working adult để nói về là một người đi làm, thay vì nói là I'm working. Okay, you can say I'm a working adult at the moment. Và từ adult là một từ rất khó để phát âm, nên cô khuyến khích các bạn tập phát âm từ này và sử dụng nó trong bài thi. Enjoy the interaction and make new acquaintance. Okay, rất là yêu thích cái sự tương tác và sự hợp tác làm việc giữa đôi bên và tạo ra các mối quan hệ mới, hay tạo dựng được các mối quan hệ mới. Okay, enjoy the interaction, make new acquaintance. It depends on how you define hard work. Okay, đây là cụm it depends on how you define something, nghĩa là tùy theo bạn nghĩ, đúng không, hay tùy theo giám khảo nghĩ cái định nghĩa cái cụm hard work đấy là như thế nào, nhưng đối với chúng ta thì nó là thế này. Okay, it depends on how you define something. International tournament, football season, tennis season. International tournament, các giải đấu quốc tế, đúng không? Ví dụ như World Cup, Euro, okay, và các cái mùa bóng, đúng không? Tất nhiên mùa bóng bao giờ có kỳ nghỉ hè như học sinh chúng ta chẳng hạn. Thế nên đến cái mùa họ đá chúng ta gọi là season. Okay, football season or tennis season. And the last one for the part 1, great family time or bonding time. Đây là khoảng thời gian của gia đình với nhau và khoảng thời gian gắn kết, đúng không? Bonding time. Okay, so you can use it for some basic questions be asked in the IELTS speaking part 1. Right, in part 2, it was a long talk, but there was a few things that you should take notice of. To be enrolled for something, to be enrolled in something, to be enrolled on something. Okay, nhập học ở đâu đây, trường nào đây, khóa học nào đây. For example, I was enrolled in Manchester, England. Somebody holds the door open for you. Ai đấy mở và giữ cửa cho em nhá. So he held the door open for me. Ask somebody to take a seat. Em mời ai đấy ngồi xuống, đúng không? So he asked me to take a seat. And the last one is a vocabulary, well-mannered, well-behaved. Đây là những người có cái cách hành xử rất là tốt, rất là chuẩn mực nha. Well-mannered, okay? Well-behaved. That is for part 2. And in part 3, this is all about being polite and definition of politeness. So there's a few words, key words that you have to make sure that you know and understand to say. Social convention, social norms, taboo, cultural customs. Bản thân từ convention nó khá giống cái từ standard, okay? Một cái chuẩn mực gì đấy. Thế nhưng không phải chúng ta yêu cầu ghi hẳn rõ đề bài là chuẩn mực của bài viết này, đúng không? Là phải viết 250 từ, phải viết trong 40 phút. Mà đó là một số các cái quy tắc chúng ta nên tránh, nên biết để tránh nhá. Social convention, okay? Các cái chuẩn mực xã hội. Social norms. Norms là những cái thứ nó rất là một phần trong cái từ normal chúng ta nhìn thấy. Okay? Norms là một cái yêu cầu hay một cái quy tắc mà tất cả mọi người đều biết, và chúng ta mặc định là người khác cũng biết. Okay, right. So social norms là những cái kiến thức hay những cái quy tắc xã hội mà mọi người nên biết và tuân theo. Taboos. Taboos là những điều cấm kỵ nên tránh, và đây là một điều chúng ta rất cần phải để ý khi đang đi du lịch, đúng không? Ở một đất nước khác, không phải đất nước mà chúng ta lớn lên và sinh sống, để tránh bị coi là một người thô lỗ. Okay, that's why I use the word taboos in the answer. And of course, customs. Okay, the country, the national custom or the cultural customs. Các cái tập quán văn hóa của một đất nước mà chúng ta cần phải biết và tuân thủ theo khi chúng ta đang ở đất nước họ. Right, và nhớ là từ culture, đúng không? Hay từ cultural là một từ khó để phát âm, giống như từ adult ở phần 1. Nên muốn các bạn luyện tập kỹ phần phát âm cho từ vựng này. Và đồng thời có một cụm cách nói để sử dụng. Đấy là cụm it doesn't hurt to be polite. Nghĩa là nó không thiệt gì khi chúng ta trở nên lịch sự nhá. Và đấy là cụm sử dụng doesn't hurt to be. Ok, it doesn't hurt to be, một cấu trúc hay. Chúng ta có thể ghi điểm và ghi ấn tượng với giám khảo trong phần thi. Rồi đấy là phần tóm tắt của những gì mà cô đã nói trong video clip. Và đồng thời ở phần subscription, phần mô tả của video này, description, cũng có ghi rõ các cấu trúc và các từ vựng cần được sử dụng. Rồi cô chúc chúng ta có một sự chuẩn bị thật là tốt cho phần thi IELTS Speaking. Ok, và hẹn gặp các bạn ở các video tiếp theo. Goodbye.